Good morning, friends. You're at Springs in the Desert, and I'm Desert. Welcome. Have you ever been to Sam's Club and seen those ginormous cans of tuna and wondered who on earth could eat that much tuna before it went bad? And what do you do with all of it? Well, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to show you definite recipes of what you could do, how you can store it, and it'll save you a bundle of money. Okay, we're going to do 4 things with this tuna. We're going to make a tuna casserole. We're going to make lemon pepper tuna. We're going to make tuna with Finas Hierbas, or fine herbs. And we're going to make tuna salad in packets to go into the freezer. Okay, this is one of the things I'm going to be doing with the tuna. I have these packets almost every morning for breakfast with some tostadas. So we're going to be making lemon and pepper tuna. And this is the spice that I'm going to be using to recreate the lemon pepper flavored tuna for my morning breakfast. Alrighty, we're going to make our lemon pepper. And I'm using lemon pepper spice mix. And I did not use this, of course. I used my giant can of tuna, but I weighed it out on my scale to be the same as a regular can of tuna. This is one of the big ones. It's 200 grams. It's more than 2 of the regular small cans of tuna. Those would be 130 grams for both of them, and this is 200 grams. But so it's the large tuna can. And I don't know what I'm going to start with. I'm just going to start adding lemon pepper and stirring it in until it tastes right. And then I'm going to store it in that silicone bag. So we'll get to adding lemon pepper. So first up, break it up really well with your fork. You don't want, how you get some of those big chunks in there. Since we're trying to put a spice mixture in here, we want it to be evenly flavored. So don't leave a bunch of big chunks, break it up into smaller pieces. Okay, so I started with a teaspoon of the pepper with lemon, and it wasn't quite enough. But I was afraid that if I added another whole teaspoon, it would be too much. So I added a half a teaspoon, and it's absolutely perfect. Now, how easy is that? A teaspoon and a half to 200 grams, stir it up. My goodness, that was certainly simple, and I'm looking forward to doing the Finas Hierbas. This is one of the packets of tuna that I am going to try to copy. It's with fine herbs, and as you can see, it's 75 grams per packet. And we're going to use that bulk tuna to make the lemon and pepper and to make the fine herbs. Okay, so fine herbs. Exactly what are fine herbs? Yeah? Fine herbs is a classic blend of finely chopped aromatic herbs, originating in French cuisine, used to enhance the flavor of food without masking it. The recipe traditional includes 4 main herbs: parsley, which adds a fresh herbal touch; chives provides a mild flavor similar to onion or garlic; tarragon gives a subtle sweetness with a hint of anise; and chervil, delicate flavor similar to parsley and anise. In Latin America and Spain and the United States, the commercial blend is usually adapted to available ingredients and commonly contains basil, thyme, oregano, rosemary, and marjoram. So that's what I'm going to make, is the blend of basil, thyme, oregano, rosemary, and marjoram. So in order to make my Finas Hierbas, or fine herbs mixture, you mix them in equal parts. So I will be putting a tablespoon each of basil, thyme, oregano, rosemary, and marjoram. And I will mix thoroughly and keep it, once you do this, you keep it in an airtight container in a cool and dark place. I'm going to be making that to mix with my tuna. Now, obviously, like I said, I'm using this to mix into my tuna. However, it's incredibly versatile. And a few of the ways to use it are on proteins. Rub into chicken, fish, or pork before roasting. Vegetables, toss with olive oil and fresh vegetables like zucchini, tomatoes, or potatoes. And in dressings, whisking it into a vinaigrette with a little bit of olive oil, lemon juice, and Dijon mustard. Mwah! It's wonderful. Okay, working on that Finas Hierbas. We need basil, thyme, oregano, marjoram, and rosemary. And I'm gonna put equal parts, start with a tablespoon each, and put it in my mortar and pestle and grind it up and mix it up for the tuna. Okay, so that's a lot of herbs. 1 tablespoon of each of 6 different. Let's mix it up a little bit and then we'll grind it. And then we'll make our tuna. You don't need to watch while I grind it all. Grinding this is so delightful. The smell that is coming up from these 6 herbs in here is just incredible. Okay, so I'm beginning to work on the tuna. Now, I did not press the moisture out of this tuna the same way as I did with the pepper and lemon, because these herbs, I think, are going to need a little bit of moisture to absorb, to soften them. So the lemon and pepper, I squeezed all of the moisture out of that tuna, and this is still rather moist. So I'm going to start again like I did the last time. It's still 200 grams like I measured out before, and I'm going to start out with 1 teaspoon and stir it up and see what it tastes like. Well, after 1 teaspoon, all I can taste is tuna. I couldn't taste the herbs at all. So I added another teaspoon and I'm about to stir it in. Well, 2 teaspoons tastes like it does out of the packet. So 2 teaspoons to 200 grams then is a good blend. And I'm guessing that the flavors may intensify a little bit more as the herbs absorb some of the moisture. That's very good. Now, on the packaged tuna, the little packets that I had that were Finas Hierbas or lemon pepper, the big can of tuna by itself is $17.65 in US dollars. If you purchase it by the packets, the way I have been doing for breakfasts, it comes out to $25.67. So you're talking about an $8 difference for just that 1 can of tuna. Okay, look what I did. I scratched myself with my own fingernail getting out of bed this morning. Don't know how. I touched all of the corners. I can't find anything sharp enough to do that, but that's what I did. Somehow, it takes special talents. Okay, on the packaged tuna that I'm replacing by, making the others. I looked at the ingredients, ready to give you this whole list of stuff that I was avoiding, and I'm really surprised to see how clean it is, actually. On their ingredients, It's all in Spanish, so I have to translate it as I go. It's the tuna, yellow in pieces, water, vegetable oil, seasoning. Now, under seasonings, in parentheses, it says xanthan gum, condiments, spices, and natural flavors. Now, xanthan gum has been known to give some people intestinal problems and stuff. I haven't really noticed that, but and I don't need added vegetable oil, added to my tuna. I mean, the tuna is natural fish oil. It's okay. And the natural flavors, I always wonder what that is. It says, and added salt, and I don't need the added salt either. So I'm avoiding the xanthan gum. I'm avoiding whatever the natural flavors are that they don't list, and I'm avoiding the salt and the vegetable oil as well. So I just thought I'd bring that up. Now, if you're ever wondering what all of this is behind me, we burn our trash. If it's cardboard or paper, we burn it, and then we put the ashes in with our compost. So I always have a container back here. That's what that is. So anyway, we'll get on with it. The next recipe is going to be a tuna casserole. Alrighty, so another way that we're going to use our bulk giant can of tuna is in a tuna noodle casserole. Now, traditionally, I like using egg noodles for this, but I don't have any right now, and I don't know where to buy them here. So we're substituting these little shells, and I have my water on to boil here. We're gonna cook the shells, and then we're gonna add some frozen peas to it at the last minute. We're gonna use 200 grams of tuna, just like we did before. That's the size of the larger cans of tuna. We're gonna use a can of cream of mushroom soup, and we're gonna use Italian breadcrumbs to top it with. Okay, our water's boiling, so we're coming back to this. Now, when you cook your pasta, do not cook it all the way through. You're going to put it into the oven, so you don't want it completely cooked, because if it is completely cooked, then it'll get way too soft. Now, when you cook pasta, always generously salt your water. But do not add oil. My mother always taught me to add oil when you cook pasta because it will keep the pasta from sticking. And yes, it does do that, but it also keeps the sauce from sticking to your pasta later, and you want the sauce to cling to the pasta, so never include oil. Okay, our pasta is beginning to boil, so I'm setting the timer for 9 minutes. 9 minutes is for al dente, 12 minutes is for firm, and 14 minutes is for soft. Now we want al dente. When the 9 minutes goes off, I'm going to add the frozen peas to this just for about a minute. And that'll be it. We'll be back then. Okay, so these have cooked for 9 minutes. So I'm going to add part of the bag of frozen peas. Not anywhere near all of it because this is a 2-pound bag. Oops. Break up my pretties. I gotta set you down, sorry. Well, there was a big clump, whoops. No, there was a big clump in there that was clogging up the works. I dropped it on the floor to break it up, but it was broken up better than it was. Okay, so we're just gonna turn this off now and strain the water out, and then we'll be adding our tuna and our mushroom soup. Okay, so that looks lovely. Now we're going to add our cream of mushroom soup. Okay, so there's our cream of mushroom soup. Stir that in to make sure our pasta doesn't stick. This is gonna be yummy. I love this. It's an old standby. All right. Okay, so I weighed out my 200 grams of tuna, and I weighed it out drained, but there was a bunch of water left in the bottom of the can, and I know that this pasta is going to absorb more water, and I didn't want it to end up dry, so I included some of the water that was in the can. It's not packed in oil, it's just packed in water. So since the pasta isn't completely cooked, I thought I'd give it a chance to be a little more juicy. Okay, so adding in our tuna. Stirring that in. I think I'm going to add a little bit of cream too, because normally that cream of mushroom soup would be mixed with milk. And I think some cream would make this delightfully rich and lovely. And, pardon the pun, creamy. Oh, that's starting to look good. All right. Okay, now I mentioned I was going to put a little bit of cream in here because normally you would add milk, and I want it to be a bit more creamy. Okay, stir that in. Oh, that looks good. All right. Now we're going to put it in our baking pan and get some of those breadcrumbs on the top. Alrighty, well that is a full pan. We'll get the breadcrumbs on it, and I'll show you at the next step. All right, there we have it covered with the breadcrumbs. And please forgive my oven, it is old. That is not dirt, that is actually rust, because I live at the beach and we scrub it all the time. Anyway, yeah. So we're ready to bake it. Oh, can you see the bubbling? Yay! Well, this was a winner. This was after my son and I had dinner, and it was delicious. And yeah, we'll be doing that again. I haven't done that casserole in years. Alrighty. Okay, now one of the things I want to do with that tuna is I love tuna salad in the summer. Now, you can't freeze tuna salad completely made because the mayonnaise can't be frozen, and it goosed it up. And the hard-boiled eggs can't be frozen. But if you put together your onions, your tuna, and your pickle relish, that can be frozen. And then all you have to do is add in the eggs and the mayonnaise when you want to make your salad. Okay, so we're going to get on to making that tuna salad. Now, this is the amount of water, I thought that was interesting, that I got out of that can. I thought that was quite a lot. We have about 4 cups of tuna, which is 750 grams, and that's equivalent, it's a little bit less than 4 of those larger cans of tuna. And we're going to use this. I'm going to use some mustard, and I have 2 cups here of frozen pre-chopped. I always prep my onions in advance, and we're going to add a half a container of pickle relish. Now I'm going to put them in these little silicone bags so that there's enough to make 1 batch of tuna salad. And I've got 3 of the bags, and then I'm going to make the 4th one with some mayonnaise and hard-boiled egg to show you the finished product. But in the meantime, this gets the rest of the tuna in the freezer so that it doesn't go to waste. We're going to include the onions. All right. And the sweet pickle relish. And like I said, this equivalent, if you're not making it out of the big can from Costco or Sam's Club, this is the equivalent of 4 of the larger sized tuna cans. And as you can see, this is almost all gone. So I would normally add about 4 tablespoons of mustard to this. 1 tablespoon per can, or 200 grams. But I'm just going to use what's left in this bag. I like mustard, so if it's a little extra, I'm not gonna let that bother me. All right. Now, mix this up. Now, the mustard, the pickle relish, and the onions will not be bothered by the freezing process at all. Neither will the tuna. But like I said before, you cannot freeze mayonnaise and you cannot freeze hard-boiled eggs. So this at least will use everything that's in the can and get it preserved in a way to where we don't have to eat nothing but tuna for a solid week. I like the little bit of bite that the mustard gives it. And also I include the liquid from the pickle relish because I like the vinegar in with the rest of it. It kind of cuts the oiliness or fishiness of the tuna, you know, and vinegar is so good for your health as well. So now that liquid that I showed you is not all of it because I used some of the liquid in the tuna noodle casserole that I made. So I just thought that was an exorbitant amount of water in one can. And even though they tell you how much the weight is drained, you know, in your mind, you kind of picture the amount that big tuna can, you know, and you picture how much tuna that's going to be. And obviously this would cut down that quantity quite a bit. Okay, so we've got it well mixed in here, and I'm going to parcel up 3 packages of this for the freezer, and then I'll come back when I've hard-boiled my egg and I'm ready to make the tuna salad. So I lied. I only had 2 packages. So we have 2 packages made up and ready to go in the freezer. And I have a towel over the rest of it while I make my hard-boiled eggs and mayonnaise. And we'll get back to it. Okay. To boil our eggs, we're going to use what's called the hot start method. You begin by boiling your water. Bring it up to a rolling boil over high heat, and make sure that there's enough water in there to fully cover your eggs. Then, before you lower the eggs into your water, you're going to turn the heat down slightly to a gentle boil so that the eggs don't crack each other, banging into each other like they would with a rolling boil. And carefully lower room temperature eggs into the water using a slotted spoon. When you do that, set a timer for 10 minutes for a classic hard-boiled egg with a fully set yolk. Or if you prefer a completely solid, chalky yolk, you might want to go 11 to 12 minutes. 10 is fine for me. While the eggs are boiling, you begin by making a little water bath with some ice cubes in it so that you can cool the eggs immediately. And when you transfer them to the ice bag and leave them there for about 15 minutes, this stops the cooking process to prevent a gray, kind of sulfury flavored ring around the yolk. Now, to peel it, you gently tap the egg on a hard surface, of course, and if you peel it under cool running water or submerged in the ice bath, then the shell will slide off the most easily. Most easily? Okay. At any rate, if you peel it under the ice water, that's how it will come off the easiest. I just, make up stuff as I go. Now I put 3 hard-boiled eggs through the food processor, and just, to stretch the tuna farther because eggs are cheaper than tuna. And just for a little tip, if you're making this tuna salad, I would recommend, if you're just making one single batch, and I'll have the recipe for that in the bottom, to do your eggs first, and then after your eggs, do your onion in the food processor, because the acids in the onions cut the grease from the yolks of the eggs really well and gives you a processor that's almost clean. Alrighty, so there's our finished tuna salad with the eggs in it mixed up and the mayonnaise in it. And there's that mayonnaise jar that I bought because I'm going to start making my own mayonnaise again. And we're almost done with it. You can see down in there's very little down in the bottom. So I'll be getting to making some mayonnaise soon. Filled up my water jug, those cake mixes over there on that chair. I'm getting ready for a wedding on, actually they're not cake mixes, there's 2 cake mixes, but there's 3 fudge brownie mixes. And I'm getting ready for a wedding on July 11th, and I'm starting to do the baking that I can do ahead of time and putting stuff in the freezer. So yeah, you're gonna be seeing some stuff having to do with that too. Alrighty, so we've got this container standing by, ready and waiting to put it in the fridge. And I'm not going to have the tuna salad sandwiches for dinner tonight. I'm going to have a kale and cabbage salad for dinner tonight. So I'm going to put this away in the fridge and we'll have this for dinner tomorrow night. Okay, so wrapping up, we used that whole thing of tuna, and we didn't have to eat tuna nonstop for days. And we've got stuff made up in the freezer and ready for breakfasts and ready for lunches. And I've got tuna salad in the fridge for tomorrow night's dinner. My son's going to be gone to his fiance's house, so that gives me an easy dinner to make, just to put some tuna sandwiches together. And you also got a couple of bonus things. You got a bonus tip on how to do pasta. You got a little bonus recipe on the best way to hard boil an egg. And you got a bonus recipe in the Finas Hierbas, plus the 4 recipes that you got for the tuna. So, and how to save money. So I hope that you found this worth watching, and thank you very much for being here. Thanks for coming back if you've returned, and welcome if you're new. Welcome to my family. And please do click that like button or share with a friend if it has some information that you think might benefit somebody else. And do subscribe. I'd love to see you around. So, yeah, me and my silly scratch. It looks even worse today. That was yesterday morning that I that I did it. Don't know why it looks worse today, but it does. Anyway, I hope that y'all had a lovely Father's Day, because I am recording this just before Father's Day, but it will be released after Father's Day. And well, I just hope that you had a lovely Father's Day, whether you're the family or whether you're the dad. So thank you very much, and I hope you have a blessed day, and toodles.